The way I like to introduce the parkour roll is a combination between a forward roll and a side roll. With any kind of a roll, you usually roll after coming out of a landing. Ultimately, any kind of a roll is going to be beneficial. Ideally, getting into that parkour roll, that more technical roll, is going to be the best. But again, any roll is going to help to disperse the force and protect the areas that we want to protect. With a forward roll, again, starting with our feet together, squatting down, I put my hands on the ground, I'm gonna tuck my chin, and then as I bend my arms, straighten my leg to get my butt over top of my head. Biggest thing that we're trying to take from that forward roll into our parkour roll is controlling the ground with our arms and straightening our legs to get our butt over top of our head. One of the biggest things with the forward roll is getting comfortable putting our hips over top of our head. I'm controlling that through my arms and through straightening my legs. If you watch with this, I haven't even left the ground yet. I'm in control by having my feet still in contact with the ground almost the whole time of my roll. I'm not out of control. Staying in that nice tight tucked ball, because a ball rolls better than a box. With the side roll, we're gonna start to introduce the triangle. So instead of having my hands like this, I'm gonna create a triangle with my hands, not like this, but palms. From here, as I squat down in that landing position, whichever direction I'm rolling, I'm gonna put that triangle in front of the knee of the direction I'm going. So depending on the direction I'm rolling, so if I look at this line, I'm gonna be rolling sideways. So I squat down. If I'm rolling to my right, I'm gonna put my triangle in front of my right knee. From there, I go to my right forearm. Before I continue to go sideways, I'm gonna go straight to put my shoulder by my hand. In order to do that, I need to straighten my legs, just like we did with our forward roll. Biggest thing here is that before I continue going sideways, I actually go forwards. One of the most common mistakes that we see is that people try to bring their shoulder to their elbow. If I try to touch my same side elbow to my shoulder, it's impossible, it's not happening. I can take my same side hand and touch my shoulder. So when I'm on the ground, with this side roll, what we're starting to introduce, again, the triangle in front of the knee of the direction I'm going to my forearm, straightening my legs to put my shoulder by my hand on the ground, and then finishing my roll. Even just patterning this hand to shoulder, hand to shoulder. I'm grabbing the ground and pulling the ground to my shoulder. In order to do that, I have to get my head out of the way. So again, squatting down, triangle in front of the knee of the direction I'm rolling. I go to that same side forearm. I straighten my legs, move my head out of the way to put my shoulder on the ground, and then I finish my roll. With the side roll, there's a little bit more complexity. There's more pieces to it, but controlling each piece separately. Again, squatting down, triangle in front of my knee. I go to my forearm, straighten my legs to my shoulder, and then nice and controlled, finish my roll. Being able to break down each piece, just like we did with that forward roll, there's just more pieces. Really understanding the forward roll, the importance of straightening the legs, controlling the ground, building that strength to be able to control yourself to the ground, tucking the head, protecting the head, moving to that side roll of introducing that triangle, forearm, straightening of the legs to get to that shoulder. With the forward roll, I'm rolling straight along the line so my feet are parallel with the line. With the side roll, again, I'm rolling sideways along the line so my feet are perpendicular to the line. With the parkour roll, I'm still going to roll along the line, but my feet are gonna be in between that parallel and perpendicular, and they're now gonna be diagonal at a 45 degree. Again, I'm still rolling straight along the line, I'm just now faced at a diagonal. I'm still going to feet together, squat down. Again, that triangle is gonna go in front of the knee of the direction I'm rolling. So it's gonna go here. Now, an important piece with this is that I wanna take that knife edge of the hand that's in front of the shoulder I'm gonna be rolling over, of that forearm I'm going to, and I wanna point that knife edge where I'm going, because it's gonna create the appropriate bend in my elbow, in my arm. If I don't point that, I bend here, and then I expose my face to the ground. So, triangle, pointing that knife edge in front of that knee I'm rolling over, put it on the ground, I go to my forearm, I straighten my legs like I did in that forward roll and side roll to put my shoulder on the ground, and then I finish my roll along that line. I'm shooting to roll from one shoulder to opposite hip. Again, one shoulder, opposite hip. I'm rolling diagonally across my body, but in a straight line. Rolling diagonally across my body happens because I'm facing diagonal, but again, still focusing on rolling straight. I don't want to just do a sideways forward roll. Just like we've done with the forward roll and the parkour roll, being able to break down each individual piece and be in control. Starting at that 45 degree angle, squatting down, triangle, pointing that knife edge in front of that knee. I go forearm, straighten my legs, get my head out of the way as I put my shoulder to the ground, and then finish my roll. A big thing with the parkour roll is the exit. I wanna make sure that I'm sideways. When I come up out of my roll, I'm actually on the side of my hip. So I am here. I'm able to get to the ground and use my hands to get up if I'm more sideways. Now I can push to stand up. My forward leg is gonna be straight as my back leg is bent, pulling my toes to my shins in both legs, dorsiflexion, as I roll up onto my heels so that I can move out. I want to avoid tucking and rolling on top of my foot and knee. We really want to make sure that we're sideways when we exit. If I'm too straight, I risk hitting bones in my lower back or my spine. Also, if I'm too straight, it's harder to get up because my knees get in my way and I can't utilize my hands to help me get up. If I'm on the side of my hip, which is more cushioned because of my butt padding, with this back knee being flexed, it's engaging the muscles in my butt, which makes it softer, less bony. And the more sideways I am, the softer it's gonna be, less bones I can contact, and I'm able to put my hands to the side to help me get up and move out of it. One of the ways you can practice that exit is by doing the roll in reverse. Taking one step back, bending that back leg to lower to my hands on either side of my knee as I bend to my hip. From this position, if I was to finish my backwards roll, I'm gonna now, since I'm on my right hip, go to my left shoulder. I'm going to transfer my hands from the ground to that left shoulder, almost creating this bar cage. Again, because in my forward roll, I would have brought the ground to my shoulder. So now I'm going here to then kick my back leg diagonally to get to that left shoulder. Sometimes a backward roll feels a little bit more natural. Again, getting comfortable, letting your hips come over top of your head. As we piece together that back roll, again, being able to do each individual segment in control, stepping back, lowering to my hands beside my knee, going to my hip, throwing my arms to my shoulder into that bar cage as I drive my leg, getting to that other shoulder. The common mistakes that we see within the parkour roll is either being too straight or too sideways. When you roll straight, especially on concrete, you're exposing your spine, you're exposing other bones. The more sideways you get, the more soft tissue you're rolling along. Again, ideally, the parkour roll is going to be the most efficient and safe. Also making sure that you are straightening those legs to put your shoulder down, and then finishing that roll, ending here with my hands on either side of my knee to help me be more sideways. Commonly what we see is that people will switch up their feet, which isn't the end of the world, but you can see that this wouldn't be as efficient. I'm a little bit more crossed up as I'm standing. So really thinking about whatever side I'm turned to, I keep that knee tucked to my chest. We also see people go too straight. On their exit, they're more here, which again, harder for me to get up because my legs are in my way, but I'm also exposing my spine and these bones on the side of my hips. Common thing that we see within the side and parkour roll is that instead of bringing the ground to the hand or bringing the shoulder to the hand, they bring that shoulder to the elbow. So from here, they do everything correctly, and then instead of going here to here, they plop to the ground. Especially within that side roll, because I am actually sideways and I have to go forward, not sideways, to get my shoulder to the hand. So utilizing that straightening of the leg to get to the shoulder before you finish your roll. Really important patterning this, and even just being able to do this from this standing position. Again, thinking about grabbing the ground, pulling it actively to your shoulder, lowering yourself, not falling to the ground. Similar to a drop is a controlled fall. I'm falling, I'm rolling, but I'm dropping, controlling the ground to help disperse the force. The more area along which my landing is, the less force is coming into my body. And that is the key behind that parkour roll. I'm dispersing, I'm spreading out that energy across 10 feet as opposed to landing and absorbing it here. As you're practicing your roll, you can start to add a little bit of a cheat to get into it. As I was saying, the parkour roll starts a little diagonal. So if I'm landing here and falling straight, it's a little bit harder to get angled. So if I know I'm going into a roll, I can cheat and land a little bit sideways. My momentum is still here, so I still want the majority of my knee bend being here. I don't want to be too sideways, but I can start to cheat so that I can fall and get into that roll. Now, just like with my gallop, if I'm here and I'm falling this way, I'm reaching and going over that shoulder. Don't get confused and go over the incorrect shoulder, or don't only be good at one side. If you happen to be falling this way and you're only good at rolling over that shoulder, adding that torque is not going to be good. Being able to fall and roll over any shoulder is super important to protect yourself safe. Ultimately, the parkour roll, it's an asymmetrical roll. I'm rolling over one shoulder. Even though I'm rolling forward, I'm rolling sideways.